This is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
It is Monday morning in Peyton Place. On Saturday, random movement was first observed in Allison's eyes. A small thing in itself, but to those who have watched and waited at Allison's bedside, a milestone and a new reason to hope.
Oh, Betty?
Mr. Carson.
You know what Dr. Rossi is?
He's in Allison's room.
Has anything happened?
Well, Mr. Gehring came out of the room a while ago and had Dr. Rossi paged.
Thank you, Betty.
No, it wasn't muscle spasm. If you'd have seen, you'd agree with me.
Oh, Elliot, come in. Exactly what happened?
She moved her hand like this.
You mean above the sheet?
Yeah. Maybe 4 or 5 inches.
Then she let it fall like so. You mean she moved it by herself?
Yes.
Well, Mike, can you be more definite now?
Well, I think it's safe to say that she's beginning to come out of the coma.
Well, I mean, beyond that, what she...
I can't say any more. We'll continue the same therapy program and watch her closely for any other signs of improvement.
Hey, Mike. Look, her eyes. They're following me.
Allison can't see you.
But her eyes, they move right
And
after.
she sees you like she sees a shadow in front of the light of a window.
Are you sure?
But it is a definite sign that she'll continue to improve.
Can I tell that to Connie?
Yes, yes, of course.
She'll see me. One day soon she'll see and hear and talk.
Thank you.
You haven't answered my question.
It's hard to, Stephen. I don't really know anything about her work.
Can you think of anyone who's worked with Stella?
No?
Lab people, nurses. They must have come into some kind of professional contact with her.
No, very few. She works alone. The only one who would know anything about her is Dr. Rossi.
Well, has she made any friends here?
Not that I know of.
No friends, no co-workers. I couldn't find anything in her high school records. I checked the Clarion files. There was no mention of her even winning their scholarship or where she went to college.
Why don't you talk to Dr. Rossi?
I already did. Professionally, he finds her, quote, reliable, unquote. Personally, he's not talking.
Well, he'd know about her background and where she worked before. It's all in her personal records.
Have you seen them? Just asking.
Allison moved. She even opened up her eyes.
Oh, that's
marvelous.
wonderful.
You'll be invited to her homecoming party before long.
We'll be there. Well?
Well, what?
Stella's personnel records. Have you looked at them?
I was curious about her.
Well, don't explain. Just tell me what was in them.
I don't remember.
Betty.
I don't, Stephen. I only looked at it once. There were just a lot of names and dates.
Well, that's unfortunate. As long as Stella's background remains in a file drawer, Rodney's in trouble.
You want me to take a second look, don't you? Stephen, you know I can't do that.
No, I guess not.
I'd like to help, but...
Morning, Stephen.
Oh, Doctor.
Oh, Betty, you're supposed to give me a copy of my schedule, eh?
Oh, I forgot. I'll get them now.
Well, I'll let her get back to work.
No, don't let me rush you.
You're not. See you, Doctor.
Bye. Thank you. Well, it looks like you've got just about everything.
Just the bare essentials, really. But if I forget anything, you can bring it up some weekend.
As long as it's only one hot box.
I promise.
Is there anything I can do?
Oh, thank you. I'm just about finished. Here. Our train leaves at 10. Do you think we should be at the station by about 9:30?
Oh, we have plenty of time. She wouldn't let you get her a new one, huh?
No. She wanted this one. But I thought that after she was at the Institute for a while, I would just lose it.
I'm afraid we won't be able to wash away what she saw that easily.
David, that's why we're taking her to the Institute, so that she'll be with friends, with people who understand her.
I know. Do you think she realizes what's happening?
Oh, I suppose.
Well, she needs time.
I might...
What?
Well, no. It wouldn't work.
Well, what wouldn't work?
Well, I thought maybe I could take Kim to the Institute. And then I could come back. And then you and I could visit her on weekends.
No, I'm afraid that wouldn't work.
That's what I said. Well, it was just an idea.
Well, I'll be there every weekend I can.
We'll be waiting for you.
Well, before you know it, it'll be Friday. I'll be knocking on the door.
Like you used to.
Yes.
Well, we had our own little place.
The bathtub in the kitchen.
I never really liked that.
Oh, I did. You know what? I think we ought to go by there sometime. Some Saturday. We'll take Kim and show her where her parents got started and how far they've come. You've come a long way, Doris.
I worked out a menu with Mrs. Chernick, at least for the first week. And then after that, you'll have to fend for yourself.
I'll manage. I'd like to come with you, Doris. I would like to throw a toothbrush in a suitcase and stow away on that train, but I can't.
I know.
It would be so easy to use Kim's troubles as a crutch. A few months ago, I would have done that to get out of this hole that I've dug for myself.
David, we've gone over this all before. What about us? Is this a separation? Or is this a separation?
I don't know, Doris. I think we need time, too.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you, too.
What we're doing, it's right for Kim.
Maybe we'll both find what we're looking for this way.
Maybe.
Well, Mr. Carson, I heard somebody coming up the stairs. I didn't know it was you.
Well, may I come in?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Come in.
stop by and tell you the good news about Allison.
Good news.
Yeah, well, perhaps I should say encouraging news. But it looks as if she's coming out of the coma.
Oh, Mr. Carson, I knew it. I knew it. Well, listen, can I get you some coffee?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing, thank you.
Well, thank you for telling me about Allison.
Why don't you just say it?
You didn't come here to tell me about her, did you?
No, I came to talk about that little episode in the hospital parking lot the other day. Your conversation with Stella Chernak. You thought I interfered, didn't you?
Didn't you?
Well, the situation looked a bit combustible.
Mr. Carson, Stella Chernak lied. Now, I stand trial for murder because she lied. And if she continues to lie, I could be found guilty unless I can get her to admit she lied. And that's what I was trying to do when you invited yourself over to break it up. Now, you know, we weren't just a couple of kids brawling in an alley.
I know it, but I think you're lucky I broke it up.
Lucky?
That's right. I don't know what you said to her before I invited myself over, but I can guess. Look, Rod, all you'd have to do is just walk up to her and hand her a neatly written note that said, please, Miss Chernak, tell the truth, and that'll be enough to have you yanked right back into jail again. And in case you happen to be ignorant of the law, which, by the way, is no excuse, that's called menacing and threatening a witness.
What am I supposed to do? She is lying.
I understand your frustrations and your resentments and your anger about it. But if I were you, I'd stay away from her like the plague. Now, you didn't happen to accidentally bump into her in that parking lot, now, did you?
No.
That's what I would have done. I'd have waited there all day, all night if I'd had to. But I'm not proud of those rash things I used to do. I haven't changed any. I still want to do them. But fortunately, now, I've learned to control myself. You see, I know that my temper prejudiced an awful lot of people against me at the time of my trial. See, juries aren't computers, Rod. Those are 12 people. Their minds are made up by an awful lot of things. Made up by evidence and by impressions. So be careful. Walk on eggshells. I wish I had.
You need some help?
I come to see my daughter. She works here.
You know where to find her?
I've been here before. Stella?
Papa, you know better than this.
If you've got time to loaf.
I'm not loafing. I'm working.
Reading a magazine?
It's not a magazine. It's a medical journal.
If you want to get ahead, you gotta work hard, even when the boss ain't watching.
I'll try to remember that, Papa, and you try to remember, please keep away when I'm working, okay?
Yeah, sure. Only when it's important.
Okay.
Now, listen, Stella. When you leave here tonight, you're gonna stop by and see Fowler. And you're gonna tell him about that Harrington kid bothering you.
Forget it.
What do you mean, forget it? He could have hurt you.
He never put a finger on me.
Maybe not this time. But you let him get away with it. Maybe next time you won't be so lucky.
I knew you'd try to pull something like this.
You mean I got no right to protect my own daughter? I don't want to lose you the same way I did Joey.
Papa!
Don't shake your head at me!
Don't shout. This is a hospital.
Who's shouting?
Do you want to get me fired?
I'm not leaving here until you promise me.
I am not going to do it.
Then I will. If you don't, I'm going to Fowler, and I'll tell him.
Papa.
Oh, I'm not kidding. And I'm going right now. And then Fowler will come to you, and then what are you going to say?
Okay. You win.
You'll go.
Yes?
Tonight.
That's what I said. Now, leave me alone, huh?
Sure. I'll get out. I don't want to keep you from your work.
Go on, Papa.
I'll see you at home. you want to see your Rodney Harrington while he's still out on that phony bail, you better hurry. You better hurry.
Mr. Carson?
Oh, Rod.
Hello. I was going to come and see you later.
Well, good. Come on, walk me to the bank.
Well, I...
I know how you feel. Always depressing to me. Go where there's so much money and none of it my own.
Mr. Carson, the other day at the hospital, were you serious about me helping you with the Chandler?
Well, sure, I'm serious.
No, but I mean seriously helping you.
Why, of course you can help me. I've got a storage room that's just like a rat nest. It's full of marine engines, spare parts, rebuilt parts, a lot of junk I've been trying to get rid of for some time. Besides, there's 2 engines there that need taken out of the crate.
You think you can keep me pretty busy until the trial?
You know, I'm going to make you earn your money. You come by first thing in the morning, and I'll tell you where to start.
Well, could I start today, now?
Sure. I remember how it was with Elliot. He was in prison, but he was just about to climb the walls before his trial started.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You know, you're going to get those nice clothes all dirty and greasy.
I don't care.
Well, if I'm going to pay you, you'd better get over there and start work.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Tape recorders make me nervous. More nervous.
Sure, I understand.
I knew you'd be wanting to talk to me, and I've been thinking about it. I'd like to get it over with. I knew Joe, mostly before he was sent away to the honor farm. Well, I was a steady girl. I was almost 17
Oh,
when...
wait a minute, Rita. What I want to know is anything you can remember about Joe's attitudes or feelings towards his sister, Stella.
Oh, well, I thought you...
I appreciate your willingness to speak of your relationship with Joe, but it's my fault. When I asked you to come over here, I should have made myself clear. Right now, I want to know about Joe and Stella. Apparently, they were close before she went away. It must have been difficult for him. She was away for 7 years.
Well, you saw her a few times after she left here.
Where? When?
When she was in college.
Which college?
I don't know.
That must have been several years ago.
Oh, sure, because when I first heard about Joe, I was just starting high school. And he was already on the football team and the track team. And I didn't start to go with him till a couple of years later. By then, he'd already quit school. I thought that was the smartest, greatest thing a guy could do, was quit school. So after a while of going with him, I did the same. Oh, it is great, till you do it.
Well, when did he quit school?
I don't know.
Well, after you started going with him, did he hear from Stella?
I know he wrote to her. Yeah, I think he did get a letter from her once. That's right, because it made him mad.
Did he show you the letter?
No. It makes me feel funny.
What does?
Well, just to talk about Joe this way. I mean, he can't talk about me. This is just the beginning, isn't it? When the trial starts, Mr. Fowler will be asking me a lot of personal questions about Joe and me, won't he? to it.
Yes, you'd better, Rita.
Okay. I'll use the tape recorder if you want me to.
Thank you, Rita. Now, anything else about that letter?
Well, Joe didn't show me the letter, but he told me about it, sort of. He hated her for whatever she wrote and told him. He answered her, but he got the letter back because I guess she'd moved. Anyway, he was mad, and he could be pretty scary when he got mad like that. In fact, I didn't think he'd ever say her name again. And I was really a dope. One night he comes over to my house to show me this great-looking car he just bought. And I was thinking, oh, God, he really likes me. You know, he comes over to take me for a ride the first thing after he bought the car. And then he told me that he'd stolen the car and that he was going to leave town for good. He was going to California to see Stella. He didn't get very far now. The police stopped him before he got to the turnpike.
And then when he got out, he found he'd lost you to Norman. Joe must have been choking with anger when he met up with Rodney on the wharf. That's going to be tough to prove. What happened to you, Rita? It happens to a lot of lonely kids. Looking for something in the wrong way, with the wrong person. I told her not to interrupt. Yes? No, 1 minute. All right, I'll take the call.
Stephen,
What is it, Betty?
I just want to let you know what we talked about.
Well, hold on a moment. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Yes, Betty.
I've been thinking about it. It's important, isn't it?
Yes. It's very important.
Well, then, I can help you.
Dr. Morton, emergency. Dr. Morton, emergency.
Lunch, Betty? No, thanks. I'm counting calories.
Is that it? Or are you avoiding the cafeteria food? Don't forget Dr. Clayton's vacation starts tomorrow. Dr. Soames is taking his calls.
I've made a note of it, Miss Choate.
Good. I'm going to lunch now, Miss Darden.
Fine.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
I wouldn't want your relationship to get off on the wrong foot. When certain elements don't blend, they separate.
And what, if I may ask a facetious question, brings an efficiency expert to Peyton Place? Free lunch on David Schuster's expense account.
I don't like it. Do you like the prospect of facing her testimony with nothing more than your passionate and self-incriminating plea of innocence?